Present day. Present time.
Now, don't get me wrong, you could game at 4K at 60 FPS, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about 144 FPS and up, raw performance, no DLSS, no frame generation, no AI magic holding your game together. And the truth is, that's basically impossible, even on the strongest GPUs in the world. What's happening right now is pretty simple. So Nvidia is advancing way too fast for CPUs to keep up. Their GPUs are evolving at a speed that Intel and AMD can't match. Intel rush chips may have finished designs, thermal throttling methods, and all just trying to keep up with Nvidia's pace. And honestly, I don't blame them for trying, but I'm also not going to defend them for the prices because those CPUs, they were definitely not ready. Now, let's be honest. There's no CPU on the market that can keep up with an RTX 5090. For sure, at least not for true 4K gaming at high refresh rates. None. And this is exactly why Nvidia tried to break into the CPU market. Back in 2020, Nvidia announced a $40 billion deal to buy ARM from SoftBank. They wanted to control the entire CPU system, and their plan was to control the ARM architecture, build NVIDIA CPUs plus GPUs, AI accelerators, compete with AMD and Intel directly, not just compete. Create a unified CPU/GPU chip like Apple's M1 and M2, and push their great CPUs even harder. Even laptops, phones, tablets, console, and servers. And basically, they wanted to dominate every market on Earth, to put it in simple words. But regulators said hell no. The ARM acquisition was blocked by basically every government at this point. Well, let's name some of them. The FTC, which is USA, EU regulators, and UK regulators. Yes, UK. Why? Because they would have created a huge monopoly that came from here or something. Now, what could have Nvidia done? Well, Nvidia could have charged and say licensing fee, control who gets access to ARM, prioritize their own chips, slow down competitors, control the entire mobile embedded world. See, they'll have too much power, too much control. So deal was shut down in 2022. But that hasn't stopped Nvidia. They are now building their own CPU from scratch. And personally, I don't think it's gonna go well. Because here's the truth, CPU design is insanely complex, and even companies doing this for decades struggle to evolve fast enough. Look at AMD. It took them over 15 years just to catch to Intel. Even when Nvidia's money breaking into desktop CPU, it's not easy. The only scenario where someone could actually use the full power of these massive GPUs at 4K is server level workloads, not gaming. Stuff like massive database, virtual machines, cloud apps, AI jobs, parallel workload, rendering cluster, and scientific simulations. These things can use up to like 32 cores, 64 cores, even 128 cores, multiple CPUs, NUMA, HPC, and interconnects. Servers can scale CPUs in that environment and shine, but gaming, not even close. Now, this is the real reason why 4K gaming falls apart. Desktop CPUs hit a performance wall years ago. Clock speeds can't go higher than 5.8 gigahertz to 6 gigahertz. It's it's the physical limit, pretty much, without melting at least. IPC gains are tiny, get like 1 to 5% yearly. Meanwhile, GPUs get 20 to 60% gains every generation. Adding more cores doesn't really help. Gains can't use more than 6 or 8 efficiently. Memory bandwidth isn't keeping up. DDR5 is not even close to GDDR7 bandwidth. This is why Nvidia overpowers every CPU at 4K. And at least for now, it's just not going to happen. At least not in raw performance. And the way the GPU market is going, I doubt it. Why Nvidia CPUs won't fix 4K gaming? Okay, now let's be real. Even if Nvidia did make a competitive CPU tomorrow, it still wouldn't fix anything because it won't solve a single threat bottlenecks. It won't magically redesign game engines. It won't increase clock speed past physics. It won't catch to AMD's 20 years of chiplet research. It won't compete with Apple's efficiency design that's been in progress for a while. Now, Nvidia dominates where massive parallel workloads matter, not where single thread performance controls everything, like for example, gaming. So here's the harsh truth. CPUs barely improve anymore. GPUs evolve too fast. Engines can't scale Windows overhead kills performance. That's why 4K feels so disappointing for so many people. It's not your GPU. Your GPU is barely even waking up. It's the CPU that can't feed it fast enough. This is why 4K at high FPS gaming is basically a fantasy on a current hardware. And that's why 4K gaming and high refresh rate is pretty much a scam. If you ask me, everyone wants to advertise this console. They want to advertise this GPU. They're selling you a dream that we're not even there yet. And now Nvidia is trying to do stuff that I don't even think they're going to get far. It's just like they're just trying to sell it to you and they're pretty much scamming you. They're taking advantage of people who are not technical and don't know. They might know some like things, but they don't know like what's under the hood. And they're just taking an advantage just to make a quick buck. Now, if you ask me, 1440p is pretty much like the sweet spot. Yeah, I think that's like the real king when it comes to performance and overall better experience. So yeah, that's all I had to say for today. And this is like oh wait, before we close the argument. So before I don't like what they're doing. They're using basically AI to actually generate fake frames. And they're doing this all because CPUs can't keep up with it. But frame generation and upscalers, that's a whole other issue. The only company that I see that actually does it properly, but they're not really using AI, as far as I know so far, is AMD. They use actually scalers that actually use your hardware. So to be honest, I think that AMD is actually going to be the future because as far as I'm concerned, and as I know, AMD are the only ones who are actually using actual scalers that actually use your raw performance to work with it. It's not no AI bullshit. But yeah, and Nvidia stocks are not really improving that much because they're focusing more on AI and on other areas than actually gaming. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I had to say. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave me a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, as always, stay spooky, stay weird. Bye. Peace.
Dim, dam, dadilam, vacarme s'en va dans l'oubli éternel. Et Gustave, dom guardiam, didim, didididilam, lute sera dodilom, seram. Dim, dim, da da da, dim, dim, da da da, dim.